Hey there, this is the One Boom, and today we're going to be talking about weapons in Black Ops 7 and why I think they're fundamentally flawed. I have been playing a lot of Black Ops 7 multiplayer. I am max prestige level 160. I have singularity camo. I have put way too much time into this game since November, and I have to tell you, I like it. There's a lot that I like about it. The multiplayer is fun. It's Call of Duty is Call of Duty is Call of Duty. It's nothing terribly innovative, but it's nothing really regressive either. But there's one thing that I'm having trouble with, and I mentioned this all the way back in the beta, talking about movement speeds and attachment variety. Black Ops 7 isn't Modern Warfare, neither was Black Ops 6. And hot take out of the way real fast, I don't mind some of the Call of Duty games being slower paced, more tactical, methodical, being a little bit more complicated, having messier weapon customization, more visual recoil and more things of that sort. I don't mind it. I really don't. I don't mind going from Black Ops 2 to COD Ghosts. I don't mind going from Black Ops 4 to Modern Warfare 2019. Modern Warfare 2 2022 is one of the worst MP experiences I've ever had in the series, but I still found fun in it, and I still think it has a right to exist, just as long as so many of the things that existed within it go away and never come back. But the change of pacing, messy maps, high visual recoil really just wasn't on the list of things that bothered me about it. If every COD game was a Black Ops game, I don't think we would have lasted this long. You gotta have your Black Ops 2 and your Call of Duty Ghosts, and that cycle will continue forever. You gotta have your Advanced Warfare and your COD World War II, your Modern Warfare 2019 and your Black Ops Cold War. You have to have a mix of things. Keeps me in business as a YouTuber, and any YouTuber telling you that they just want to play Black Ops 7 for the next year, it's like, do you? You can't adapt to a video game? That's how cushy we are. We can't adapt to a video game. You can just make money criticizing it and playing it and trying to get good at it for the whole year, or I guess you could throw a huge hissy fit preemptively before we've even seen a screenshot from it. God, anyway. I'm excited for the next Modern Warfare game. I hope it's kind of slower, clunkier. I hope my footsteps are louder, and I hope there's like some destructible environment similar to Call of Duty Vanguard, and maybe a perk system like Ghosts, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling. Black Ops 7, however, is not that. Black Ops 7 is Twitch movement arcade shooter. You slide around the floor at Mach 10, you're bouncing off of walls. We have optics that can see through materials. We have 3-round burst, auto-bursting sniper rifles. We have more drones in this game than we have guns. It's cool. It is high-octane Call of Duty arcade fun. And I love the time to kill. And I like the movement mechanics, I really do. Even when they piss me off, I still am glad they're there. But you know what? Weapon customization in this game's a bit of a farce. Why do I need to worry about my kick reset speed in a Call of Duty game? Shouldn't I just figure that once my sight returns to center, that my recoil pattern has reset? Why do I need a muzzle attachment for that? Like, seriously, I made a video on this. It went viral, as much as something, my size goes viral. Has like 20,000 views or 13,000 views, somewhere in that ballpark. Anyway, I made a whole video talking about how your kick reset speed is actually not tied to the animation of your gun resetting. How about the fact that you're not fully aimed down sight when you're aimed down sight until a couple milliseconds afterwards, which is why you need the Strelic laser. The Strelic laser will allow you to have perfect ADS accuracy when you get this, ADS'd. How about the fact that idle sway is active even when you're not holding aim down sight for a long period of time? And there's only one attachment in the game that reduces this, and it's an underbarrel. Why should I be thinking about idle sway when I'm not aiming down sight? Why don't I just have perfect ADS accuracy when, I don't know, I'm aiming down sight? Why is my sprint to fire speed on some guns able to go all the way down to 95 milliseconds or lower? That's a crazy fast sprint to fire time. But of course, sprint to fire is different than slide and dive to fire speeds. That, for some reason, is its own stat. Okay. And then, of course, yeah, I can come out of sprint and start shooting within under 100 milliseconds. But my LMGs have a pre-fire delay of like 20-some milliseconds. Because in real life, open bolt weapons don't fire the moment you pull the trigger. They fire a couple milliseconds after because the bolt has to go forward. But if I'm coming out of sprint at 95 milliseconds, that's sort of unrealistically fast for somebody to go from a full sprint to start shooting, but I'm so glad we have open bolt delay on light machine guns. And gosh, I'm just so glad that I have like 400 millisecond return to center times when it comes to kick reset speed. My gun takes longer to return its recoil pattern to 0 than I do to do sprint out times and slide to fire times without an attachment. And of course, there's only one attachment that does it, and it removes your ability to run a suppressor. Oh boy, I love gun customization, especially when all the stuff is obtuse and unnecessary. This is asinine game design. There's no reason for any of this to be here. Look, if you can put a laser in the game that changes my transitional accuracy, a muzzle that changes my kick reset speed, when you can put these attachments in the game, that means you could make the default values that of those attachments. This is a weird holdover, trying to be more technical and realistic and detailed in an era that praises detail over quality. We don't care if a video game is well paced or well thought out or designed within its niche. It needs to be detailed. There needs to be meticulous details. That's what people post about. That's what people on YouTube talk about. The meticulous details. Top 10 reasons GTA 4 is better than GTA 5. Look at all the details. And I love details. I love that Infinity Ward puts out these like milsim lights that are just, again, just messes of details and complications and nuances. I love it. I eat that shit up. I love it. I really do. I hope the next Modern Warfare has tac stance and blind firing and higher visual recoil and night vision goggles with the actual IR filter and, you know, lasers that are only visible in certain IR spectrums. Yes, I love that. Black Ops 7's not that. That's not the game I bought. And some of the things I'm talking about are realistic things. That's not inherently just a detail thing. Detail and realism are two different subjects. This is detail for the sake of detail. This requires people to learn things, which puts an informational skill gap out there. Part of me loves that. As a YouTuber, I love an informational skill gap. I can tell you guys to use this laser, this muzzle. I can tell you guys that idle sway is happening whether you know it is or not. But that's not the game this is. That's not correct. As much as I benefit from it as a YouTuber, it's not the game that it is. And again, this doesn't make the game more realistic, it's just creating a knowledge gap for the player base. And how many people are buying this game casually, playing, and thinking that the game's just broken because their bullets don't fly straight when they're aiming down sight? Or they are activating the second half of their recoil pattern because they started firing their gun 350 milliseconds after it was supposedly supposed to be reset, but they needed to wait that extra 50 milliseconds, but they didn't, so now their recoil is going to start from the second half of the first plot because they don't have the right muzzle attachment. How would they know that without watching my video? Without doing meticulous testing of every attachment in the gunsmith? Because yeah, nothing casual players love more than testing things more than playing with them. Again, I'm not against this conceptually. It just doesn't belong here. I mean, if you wanted it to belong here, you could build in realistic, complicated things. You could have bugged and bothered Infinity Ward to help them make you make a weirdly grounded, realistic, milsim adjacent tactical sort of sci-fi shooter, but that's not what you did. You have a sci-fi shooter with a bunch of obtuse, asinine decisions with your weapons that require me and my precious wildcards and time to make it actually feel good to play with. To get a gun in this game to operate the way it does in classic Call of Duty, I would need to attach bullet velocity attachments to increase my hit scan range, because of course, bullet velocity is not in effect as a stat until you're outside of the hit scan range. Until then, it's hit scan. Do you know how many people don't know that? Your weapon's effective range is going to be hit scan. Past its effective range is going to be bullet speed. So to increase the distance that it's hit scan, you need to increase the bullet velocity. Then you need to use the underbarrel that removes aiming idle sway. Then the Strelic laser, so you're getting perfect accuracy from the moment you're aiming down sight. Then you need the muzzle brake attachment, so that way you have perfect kick reset speed. That's gonna happen fast enough to actually take advantage of tap firing. That way your second volley of fire, if it's just, a couple milliseconds off, isn't going to start from the previous pattern. And then there's other things like base stats like sprint to fire speed, aim down sight speed, aim walking movement speed, flinch resistance. Do you want an optic? Are the iron sights good? Well, I can't be concerned with that. You see, I don't actually get full aim down sight accuracy as I'm aiming down sight until the final frame of the animation when the gun settles in my character's palm. So I really can't be too stressed about things like sprint to fire time, or what's that other pesky one? Yeah, recoil control. And of course that needs to be 4 stats: recoil stabilization, gun kick, horizontal, and vertical recoil. because people love balancing all of that in their head when they're trying to play. Here it all is, on screen, all of the things you have to consider when balancing your weapon that shouldn't be there. There's other things obviously as well, but these are the things that I believe shouldn't be there. These are holdovers from more realistic, slower paced, meticulous games in the series. And these people aren't lazy, they're not copy and pasting, they're including these things because they think we want them, because the internet goes insane over details and being meticulous. Details, like I said earlier, are more important than quality, more important than thematic synergy. I don't care if you have a, unlimited sprint, fast sprint to fire times game where you can slide around and jump off walls in this brightly colored futuristic environment. You're gonna have to be worried about your transitional accuracy period. If you guys wanted to put in destructible environments, blind firing, you guys wanted to put in tack stance as a default mechanic instead of something that requires a laser for some reason, if you wanted to build a gritty, realistic sci-fi shooter with a ton of deep and impactful mechanics, you would have. But instead, since the beta, you've been rolling back penalties. Rolling back the penalties that make guns less fun to use, by buffing overpressurized rounds, or buffing the recoil control stock on LMGs and SMGs because it didn't need a downside on those weapons. And it's painful to see this after Black Ops 6, because Black Ops 6 also has all of these issues. It's just that the reason they're not getting talked about is people are too busy bitching about skill-based matchmaking and cheaters, so nobody's talking about the fact that our core gunplay in our hands is asinine and obtuse and unnecessary, and the weapons rising to the top in the meta aren't really good. They're just not bullshitting you. They're just not complicated enough. They're not niche enough to be fussy enough to make you notice that the game is sort of balanced like shit in this area. Frankly, is this a fast-paced Twitch arcade shooter, or is this some sort of, combat simulation, tactical, detailed RPG with min-maxing? What are we? What are we, Treyarch? What are we? I have a lot of respect for those at Treyarch. I don't mean to call things just shit or saying it's just bad. I'm being hyperbolic as sort of a character on YouTube. And I know that developers, more than anything, hate it when criticism at their product is just, that's bad, that's just shit, that's just a bad thing that's existing here. You have to explain yourself, give actual criticism and feedback, and I hope by explaining what I believe to be asinine, I've done that. I love that Call of Duty takes different forms. Even my least favorite COD games are a part of the reason that the series exists and works in the first place. When we had Modern Warfare Remastered, Infinite Warfare, COD World War II, and Black Ops 4 all in the same chunk of years, that was awesome. Remember when we had Black Ops 2, COD Ghost, AW, Black Ops 3? I love that each one of those games felt different. I love that each one of those games was pronounced and definitively different. Black Ops 6, Black Ops 7 should have had nothing to do with Modern Warfare 2019, nothing to do with Modern Warfare 22 or Modern Warfare 3 for that matter. Nothing. It should have been its own feeling game. The synergy with Warzone is annoying, and the synergy with dude bros that think that being detailed is better than making sense, I'm sorry, that doesn't work in this context with this game, and in fact, I believe it hurts this game more than anything else. I like customizing weapons, and I look forward to doing I Need a Weapon live streams, where people can donate to make me use whatever combination of attachments they want, much to my chagrin, usually to my chagrin, because people want to make me miserable. It's fine, it makes for good entertainment, and, lines the pockets, gotta get rich somehow. But I can't help but think how much more I would enjoy this game if the weapon customization was about building for my playstyle instead of adjusting for things that shouldn't be there to begin with. Things that complicate the meta, complicate the gunplay, and while it's not game breaking or game ruining, it's just a small stain on something that otherwise I think is pretty damn fun. It's just, got this little unnecessary growth off the side of it, and I wanted to point it out. Maybe it can get lasered off. Anywho, if you guys agree with me in this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And if you made it to this point in the video, I would love to hear the most insane detail you think they should add to Call of Duty in the future with Modern Warfare titles and their gun customization, because I've been thinking a lot about that. I really hope Infinity Ward steps up their game with gun customization so we don't just get year 7 of the gunsmith we're all sort of sick of. I mean, I love Gunsmith, but it insists upon itself at this point, and now we need a change. We need something to shake it up. I know some people just want to go back to quick draw stock suppressor, but you know, I think we should be able to find a middle ground between the unnecessary and the unique. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.